Oh man, this one looks good.
That's all right.
I think it fits
I'm a
pretty well.
fan of this one, to be honest.
That will definitely improve my hair.
I tell you what, on top, we all look great.
Yeah, the masks are amazing.
We're bang on here. We're bang on.
Oh, Shogun.
No.
That's too scary.
Don't
I'm going to scare
do that.
everyone.
No, the kids
wear that.
I'll tell you what, let's just roll titles. Oh, yes, thank you very much. Halloween. Yeah, get it? Welcome along to a very spooky edition of the Gfinity Arena Elite Series here in this magnificent stage in. We've got smoke coming out, we've got pumpkins, everything is happening, and we are ready for a little bit of Rocket League. Week 4, everyone is getting more tense trying to make it to the playoff spots, and as we all know, it is a perilous path to make it into the final and become an Elite Series champion. Now let's try and meet some of the guys, the men behind the mask. Here they are. Look, I've been joined this week by Gregan and Onset. Gentlemen, we are looking forward. Fantastic outfit.
Thank you, I chose it myself.
And look at that, that's not real. That's
amazing.
Ooh, easy, Tiger. Right, let's take a little walk down, because gentlemen, week 4 is getting very, very exciting. Last week was fantastic. We'll go over here, why not? Gentlemen, what are your predictions? You make me look quite sad. You make me feel quite sad, Gregan, when I look at you. You're going to pull that hood down at any point?
Oh, we can do, yeah. Let's.
Yes!
There he is.
I'm not a dabbing Reaper all the time. This is in theme to Rocket League. For those who don't know, there is a goal explosion in game where the Reaper dabs. The scary bit is the dabbing. The Reaper itself, no one really gets scared by Reapers, do they? No, it's death itself. No one's scared about that.
Everyone's more scared of a dead joke.
Yeah, dead joke like a dab.
Okay.
So I apologise to anyone at home who was
put this here.
hurt by me dabbing on stage earlier, but the Ghostbuster, I'm loving that.
Thank you, man. I mean, people have said you've dressed up. This is my casual wear. This is
Oh,
what
this
I
is your
wear.
casual wear?
Yeah, just, you know.
Beautiful. Well, love it. Listen, gentlemen, let's have a look at the schedule and the table today. What is going on at the moment in the current standings? Reason Gaming flying at the top. How has this happened compared to last season? And then you've got Team Infused, who are flying high, right down there at the bottom. It's an absolute reversal.
Yeah, it's scary, you could say, to be honest with you. But you've got to look at Reason. You know, it's a very different lineup to what they had last season. There's a lot of talent on there, and they've been performing well all the way through the season so far. And Infused, this is a different story. You're looking at those two teams, and two of those players that were on Infused are now on Reason. So big change around there, and you can see maybe where the strengths were on that Infused team last season.
And we look towards that last game of the day. Very exciting. Reason Gaming investing on Team Envy. We know how good Envy are. That could it be 4 wins in a row for Reason? Could it happen?
I think at this point, Reason are now the favourites. They've changed from being one of those teams everyone's looking at, are they actually as good as the new roster says? But against Envy, I would put Reason as the winner 9 times out of 10. But Envy have got Frag coming in this week, mixing it up a bit. Very good player last season for Reason. So I wonder if he's got a little bit of motivation to take down his old team.
Indeed, I'm a little bit hot in here, actually, to be honest. Time now to join my co-host, ready to cast her spell on us as always. Not that I'm saying that she's a witch or anything, and if she was a witch, she'd be a good witch, like in Wizard of the Oz. I think I got away with that. Ariel?
You better watch what you're saying, Tom, because I'll put a spell on you. Although I'm Wednesday Addams today, so it's more about poisoning apples and then making you eat them later. Right, you did mention there that it's all about Reason versus Envy at the end of the day, and we are asking you over on Twitter who you think's going to win it. Now, if we asked you this last season, it probably would have been one-sided. Reason definitely weren't the favourites. Envy were one of the favourites, but this season it's all upset and all changed. So who do you think it's going to be? Reason versus Envy? Let us know at Gfinity. Use the hashtag Elite Series. If you're voting for Reason, use hashtag Reason. If you're voting for Envy, it's hashtag Envy. Now, to my right-hand side, I'm joined by a wonderful specimen that is Shogun, or as... Sorry, what have you done with Shogun?
This is really old.
It worked.
No, that did not work at all.
You're looking forward to this week, Shogun? I feel like you've gone in on the Halloween theme.
I have definitely gone all in, indeed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this week, indeed. There's some big matches coming up. We're starting to hit towards the mid-season point now. Yeah. So we're going to start seeing more and more of those teams that are definitely going to be pushed towards the top 4. A couple of those teams out there need definite wins this week. Yeah. And then we're also seeing the teams that are making very strong cases for themselves to actually go on and win the entire championship.
What do you think the highlight of today is going to be?
I want to see Infused versus Endpoint. It's two teams that really need to step up. Endpoint picked up their first win last week, and that was big for them. So it's a case of if Infused lose that one, they're out, effectively.
Yeah. Which is not what we want to see. No. Poor old Doomsy. We like having him on camera just as much as we love having you on camera. Put those teeth back in. Get ready for your casting and analysing. Back to you in the studio, Tom. Let's get this game going.
Hi, I'm here. Thank you very much. Now, listen, Endpoint started off the defense of their Elite Series title from Season 1 with a couple of horror shows. But you know what? Last week, Tinny and co, that's Cheerio and Shakaran, they managed to get back to winning ways. And the question is now, can they win this title? Well, can they? Can they get back into it?
Endpoint, last season's grand champions.
I really think this is Endpoint's chance to get their first win.
It's going to be a shot on target. Endpoint will take the opening goal in the series. 2-1 Endpoint. 5 seconds remaining. 2-1 to Endpoint. This is huge for their season.
Endpoint get the 3-0 sweep over Team Envious.
Well, there you go. Gentlemen, it has to be said, we're looking at this matchup. Last season, we looked at one team that we thought were going to win it, Infused, didn't, and then Endpoint did. So is it flipped this year? What's going on?
I think it's interesting to sort of compare Endpoint's season in the first season and this season. They didn't have a very good start last season, and then they put together this unbeaten run and went on this run and ended up in the playoffs, and then we all know what happened at the end of it. They ended up taking home the title. So it's kind of, you need them to step up a little bit now. It's got to that point in the season where they've kind of got their first win on the board now, and now they need to sort of progress, use that momentum and pick up some more wins. If they can recreate what they did last season, I mean, who's to bet against them?
Yeah, what do you like about Endpoint, Gregan?
I like quite a lot, actually. They're quite nice guys. They live in the same city as me, so I spend a bit of time with them. And I know that from speaking to them, their off-season wasn't as productive as they hoped for. So I think the same pattern is going to happen, where they get better as the season goes on. Because coming here, a lot more motivated, they're training really hard. And one thing to point out is last week, their Envious win, they 3-0'd Envious, series score. That was the team that completely clean sweep. They didn't let a single goal in against Endpoint in Season 1. So a huge improvement from Endpoint's point of view, Season 1 to Season 2.
Yeah, and looking at some of the goals from last week, what did you like about their play? I mean, they finally seemed to turn up, as it were.
Yeah, it was just it was the cohesion came back again. We saw Cheerio getting on the score sheet, and he was kind of the catalyst for them last season. When he started getting those goals on the board, they just started to roll a little bit. And one thing we have noticed about Endpoint as a team is they are a confidence team. When their confidence is up, when they win a few games, when they have a few things go their way, they do get on a roll, and they start having a good time, as you can see there. And when they're having a good time, it's when they play the best Rocket League.
They do indeed. What do you reckon about Infused?
OK, so they got McLovin in again this week. And
sorry, one more time.
McLovin.
Thank you.
You do like that name, right?
Love that name.
And then Dan Shizzle.
Yep.
Another great name. And Doomsy. Not quite as good as McLovin.
No, and Doomsy, the return of Doomsy, who everyone loves in this arena, and definitely for Season 1. But they haven't found the right lineup, have they?
So Dan Shizzle and Doomsy have been trying to work together. They just can't quite find that synergy that they had when they first formed the team. And unfortunately for them, they have to keep playing, and they play with this team, and they're working really hard, and they're trying to mix it up by bringing in McLovin. They've been practicing a bit together to try and really learn, and I really hope it clicks for them, because I love all the players as individuals. It's just as a team, they've not been working in a way that's nice to watch, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, when a team begins to gel together, how long does that take, and can they still make the playoffs now?
It's going to be tough for them. I mean, they're sitting at the bottom of the table. They need to go on the run of all runs if they want to get into the playoffs. But talking about teams gelling, it can be one of those things. Sometimes when a new team comes together, you have what's called the honeymoon period, where everything's rosy, you know, everyone's playing well, it's easy. But then when things don't go so well for you immediately, then it becomes very tough, because you start almost trying everything. You're trying everything instead of just sticking to the basics. And I think that can kind of be the point with Infused. We've seen there's been some confusion on the team with sort of what roles people are trying to play. We see, you know, Doomsy trying to do his thing, and then you've got a chopping and changing of the lineup. So I think it's just a case of they're not comfortable with each other and what each other are doing. I think just go back to basics. I think just play naturally and see how it happens, because at the moment it can't go much worse.
Yeah, after the honeymoon period, you have to hang out with the family. That's where it always goes wrong.
Problem.
Yeah, they need to be a family. There he is, Doomsy in the middle. For a moment there, I didn't think he was playing, but he definitely is. That is the correct lineup that is going to be happening today. Who's the danger man today? Just in a word from Infused. Who should we be cheering on? Who should people at home be getting behind today?
Played with Dan and McLovin yesterday, and McLovin was popping off, so I reckon he's going to pop off today.
OK, well, listen, gentlemen, let's welcome out those players for Infused. We've got Dan's Hizzle, we've got McLovin, and we have Doomsy. And for Endpoint, we've got Tinny, Cheerio, and Shekaran! Listen, look at the gentlemen that look pumped and ready. It's one hat apiece. Doomsy and Cheerio have a hat each. What will happen? Anything could happen. While these guys begin to get ready, let's delve into the A to Z of Rocket League. And I think we are up to our eyes.
Team Infused are led by the enigma that is Doomsy. During Season 1, they embarked on an undefeated streak in the group stage, but unfortunately came up short in the playoffs. They have a much changed, but great lineup of players for Season 2, but a rocky start won't detract from the potential this team has to offer. An infield pass is any pass directed towards the midline of the pitch. These passes are used to help a team find a way around the opposition's defence, where a teammate can then redirect the ball towards goal. Shots that result from a successful infield pass normally exceed 100 km/h, making saves near impossible for the defending team.
Love a bit of the Rocket League A to Z. There'll be more from that later on. That was the eyes. Let's see what I did there, because it was I. But anyway, listen, it's time to find out who our experts, our analysts, decide who they think are going to win today. So let's go and find them. Where are you on set? Gregan, we're here. Hang on a minute.
We're
We're
with
both
the Endpoint
over
boys.
in Endpoint. Now, gentlemen, who do you think Endpoint are going to get this first win of the day?
I think the win last week was a big thing for them. I talked about them being a confidence team. Infused are obviously very low on confidence at the moment, sat at the bottom of the table. And I think these boys here know how important this week is for them. If they get some more points on the board, they're going to be pushing for those playoff places.
This man here has a ghost topper. That is enough for me to vote for this team. But also, I believe Endpoint, skill-wise, will also be the better team. But the ghost is the reason.
What are you on about? What do you mean, Greg?
You'll see it in game. Look forward to it.
Can I get away from Tinny? That's it. That's all I'm getting. Right, let's don't forget the team over to the other side. We've got Infused with McLovin, Dan's Hizzle, and Doomsy. Get away from those gentlemen. All the best, gentlemen. I'll be rooting for you. Let's take a little walk down here. We've got our casters, got Johnny Boy and Shogun looking absolutely fantastic.
Where are you? I can't see where you are.
I'm just on this side of you.
Come to my good eye, Tom.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, exciting first way to start week 4 with Infused taking on Endpoint. Infused need to start winning, otherwise they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, they're currently on a 5-game loss streak, considering the last game of last season, the playoffs, and then the 3 losses they've had here. So if they lose this one, it's pretty much as bad as last season, as good as it was.
What about Endpoint, Johnny Boy? Do you think that they're going to take this today?
I have to agree with the analysts. I think they're going to take it. They did that little turnaround at the start of last season. They were, not looking too hot to begin with, and suddenly they came out of nowhere and looked great, and they've done it again. So I think it's going to be a continuation of that.
Quick question, Johnny Boy. Are you going to be taking the eye patch up a little bit so that you can watch the screen and the table?
Well, what's the point? My eye, the eye patch is there to cover up my deformed eye.
Okay.
I can't use a deformed eye anyway.
That's quite darker than I thought we were going to go with that, but okay, fair
don't
enough.
hold back.
It was just a yes or a no, but that's fine, mate. All right, I'll leave you to it. Gentlemen, I'll leave you to this one. It's got a great matchup. Infused taking on Endpoint.
Yeah, looking forward to this one, Shogun. It's going to be the very different story to last season. Infused, of course, just looked so good last season. Now they're falling to pieces, which is a shame, but it's just a reality.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this game right here is going to be a season savior for one of them. Endpoint starting to look themselves a lot better than they were in the last few weeks, starting to bounce back very similar to how they did in Season 1. But for Infused, no other way of saying it, this is must win.
Oh yeah, they've got to turn it around now. I don't think it's... Well, it's mathematically possible for them to make the playoffs with a loss here, but they would need a lot of help from other teams and other results going in their favor, which you never want to do in any league. But with this being bang in the middle, week 4, this is going to be the turning point or the just collapse, the absolute collapse for Infused. I think we're almost ready to get started here, but I don't know if the crowd is ready for this. I'm going to give you guys a little countdown, and I want to hear just how prepared you are for this match. So on 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Oh my goodness, that's British crowd.
British crowd, you've actually got a reaction. I'm really impressed with them.
Beat that, Shogun.
I will do it later.
Right now. That was right now. One. No.
Nah, we're
getting into the game.
I will do it later, and it will be way better than anything else you can ever hope for. But both of these teams were hoping that they can be better than one another as they look to take the win in the first game of week number 4 of the Gfinity Elite Series. It is going to be Endpoint versus Infused.
And like we have been saying, like the analysts have been saying, Endpoint are now the favorites. First 2 weeks, 2 losses. Then they really did turn it around, swept Envy, who went in last week as the slight favorites, in my opinion. That really did not turn out to be the case. Oh, that's a whiff from Infused, or by Endpoint, sorry, leading to an Infused defender missing the ball. Of course, I've got a great excuse. If I call anything wrong today, I'm just going to blame it on my eye.
It's going to go all the way down the field, and Tinny's going to get the opening goal, and that right there is massive because A, Team Infused, the rotation completely broke down. No one was in position, and B, both these teams are very momentum-based, very emotional in the way they play, and if it starts going wrong immediately for Team Infused, I don't see them bouncing back.
Yeah, this is certainly the worst possible start for Infused. And with McLovin coming in for his debut, we've got all eyes on him. That was a cheeky little passing play between the aforementioned and Dan Shizzle. It's good to see. It was Gregan who said that McLovin was popping off, end quote. So we'll be looking to see if that will continue into today. Good shot from that young man. Top corner, lob across the goal.
McLovin, the online warrior, finally taking his skills to the stage, and he is making it show. What an angle from that hit, tying us up early, and that is important for Infused. They've managed to settle it back down. Still 4 minutes and 12 seconds remaining. So plenty of time to settle into a regular game of Rocket League rather than panicking about getting back in.
And that was a great shot. You see the air roll to the side just to give himself more of a chance to hit that angle with accuracy, which he did. Decent ball control from Tinny, getting the clear out of danger. But it's great, like you said, to see Infused rebounding from that early goal that they did concede. But it's very important that they try to keep toe-to-toe with Endpoint. Try to stop that Endpoint momentum for the champions. Oh my goodness, Dan Shizzle this time with a huge interception. Great shot from the midfield. It was, in fact, again, passing play leading into this. Doomsy with a great lob.
And Endpoint just seemed to have been almost magnetized out, following the ball, expecting it to become loose at any second. And Infused show a level of quality that has been missing throughout this entire season. Great passing play into the middle and just opening up so many gaps. Here it is going to be the third, 4 goals within 90 seconds. If only the Premier League was this exciting, Johnny.
That's 1 goal for each member. And another assisted goal as well. Very deliberate pass, this time Dan Shizzle to Doomsy, who's looking pretty happy with himself. Another question has to be asked now. Can Infused hold on to this lead? They've got a great lead here, very established. Are they just going to sit back and try to play this one out? It's a long time to go. Will they push on for more?
Well, Infused were a part of the most infamous 2-goal comeback in the Gfinity Elite Series history, but they were on the correct side of it. Endpoint would love to put them onto their rear end and force a way back through, but right now they've got to find a way out of their own half. Everyone from Team Infused happy to stay back. Tinny's done a great job of trying to set himself up as Endpoint starting to move themselves forward. McLovin's got to play this well, and I've been head over heels shocked at how well McLovin is playing.
He's doing very well. It's always a big question for new players coming on stage. Are they going to show up? Oh my, what a shot! No, that's such an injustice that shot did not find the back of the net. Almost perfectly timed. Nice half flip by McLovin. He doesn't get a good clear after the fact though. Shot through the smoke does go wide. Infused hanging on for the time being. Another passing play to the middle. But McLovin, he has escaped what would have been a disastrous defensive lapse He's been looking great in attack, which is good. But at some point during the series, I'm sure they're going to be in a losing position. That's where we're going to see how does their defense look when they're being put under a lot of pressure by an Endpoint lineup who are rotating pretty well, just at the moment being beaten to the ball.
It's a problem that we see as well from a lot of those mid-tier players still trying to look to break into the top tier of Rocket League is that they've all learned how to do solid offense, but very few of them know how to get a defense really well sorted, especially in a series like the Gfinity Elite Series where you do have rotating rosters.
Oh no, what is this?
Somebody please hit the ball. Tinny will eventually do that, but Endpoint, shaky is an understatement.
It's contagious whiffing, I believe. So stay well away from the Endpoint side of the stage. It is happening. It's all over the field.
Oh,
Everybody's
no.
whipping. It truly is contagious. Spooky Ron with a shot. I do love that. He's even got the ghost topper as well. No one else in the lobby has done any changes to name or car except Chacaron.
It's going to be Endpoint still looking for their second goal, a way to get themselves back into the matchup. McLovin just playing nuisance right now. Every single time he gets the ball, he is not hitting it first time, not showing those nerves that we would expect. And instead either looking for the pass or at this point in the game, just rolling it up the wall, wasting some time, putting it into a position that is very difficult to go and challenge. And for Infused, that is exactly what they need. That is the exact opposite of what they need.
Yeah, we can see the last defender here. It is Dan Chisel. He's just autopiloting forward as the hard clear is about to come in, and hard clear should not be hitting the back of the net. But credit to Tinny for taking the shot regardless. He saw the opportunity, stuck it up in a position that had Dan Chisel made contact with that ball, it may have still been in a good position for Endpoint. But it just hit the back of the net first try. It didn't even need to follow up. 1 goal, 50 seconds. Can Infused hold on? I've got a feeling that they're going to be facing an incoming barrage of shots as Endpoint have the territory. They've got boost. Infused are all in defense, ready to try to counterpunch though.
It's going to be Doomsy playing down to the other end of the field every single time though. Endpoint are holding the halfway line. Should be able to keep the offense going for a long period of time, though that's just basically handed back over to McLovin, who is no longer going to try and control the ball. He's powering it over, and 2 players over in the corner as well. Makes it very difficult for Endpoint. You can see they've got no one to follow up. Dan will just throw himself for that one. 15 seconds remaining, back down to the other end of the pitch.
This might be it.
He's going to just clear it long yet again, and no one on Endpoint is in position. It's going to be their last shot at this, but another clear. And Infused, they made this difficult for themselves, but they might hang on. They just got to get it to touch the floor.
They've done it.
Do.
And the Gfinity Elite Series continues to surprise us just when we think there's a clear winner between any of the 2 teams that happen to be matching up on any given day. The teams show up and they just prove us wrong. Once again, Endpoint this time, falling a bit short of an Infused who are looking very resurgent today. This is something we've not seen from them recently. Just a consistently good performance for about 1 minute and 30 seconds. They were pressuring Endpoint into their half, and that's something we haven't seen from them this season.
Well, we're going to take a look at the replays and the highlights from that last game. Certainly is a spooky part of the year, but some of the defense here was terrifying.
Oh,
just absolutely nowhere around. Well, that right there,
did you have that
was beautiful.
Did you have that in your back pocket?
Dude, I can make stuff up on the fly.
You're absolutely right. It was a great shot by McLovin. He continued his popping off straight into the game. It was so sad to not see that ball hit the back of the net. I really just wanted to see a replay of that shot as it came from the midfield, bar down, but it just didn't cross the line.
I mean, that was the biggest loss I've seen in the last few years. That goal right there was... That just deserved to be...
It was just so clean.
I've never seen someone robbed so hard.
It was right off the bounce as well. That's the best time to shoot the ball. Right after that ball bounces, catch it clean, try to get an increase of power and momentum on the ball. So, especially for Halloween.
It's terrifying, isn't it? Well, it's going to start off with Endpoint looking to put their pressure forward. It's going to be very difficult for them to do so, and the rotation's still from Infused. Yes, mechanically they seemed okay apart from some of the whiffs, but it's the rotation I'm most scared about from both of these teams.
Defense has been a bit shambolic at times this game, and more whiffs coming in, players just flopping around in the air. A bit more hopeful than anything else, but so far, still tied up at 0-0. It was around about now last game that Endpoint struck first, courtesy of a long shot going undefended. So Infused have to be very careful. Both their goals they conceded last game were just long shots that the last man back did not see coming. So whoever happens to be last man back, I don't recall who missed the save on the first one, but the second was Dan Shizzle. Just need to be a little bit more patient moving forward, because besides those long shots, Endpoint didn't really bring a lot to the table.
Johnny Boy, even though he misses one eye, he can use his third. That Rocket acknowledged coming in to say, save the ball, do the thing. Tenny. Oh, tried to find a pass over, but instead there was a miscommunication, and Cheerio instead went for a demo. Opportunity for Endpoint, though. Need to rotate themselves in. That is going to be a slow, crawling shot, but it will make its way in.
We got Spooky Ron trying to confuse us by coloring his orange team car blue, but he does get the set to Cheerio off the back wall. Cheerio continues to be the scorer for Endpoint. Great accuracy and power from the tight angle there.
And Dan doesn't even get a choice anymore. Last time we were looking at him just going, okay, why are you coming out of net? That time around, just got a car locked next to him and forced all the way up. So he can't even defend even when he wants to.
That's two aggressive plays by... Oh, that's another goal into the net from distance. This is so rare at this level of play, but the power clear's coming in from Cheerio. Nobody back this time. It wasn't even a case of last man back moving forward preemptively. There was just nobody back in the first place.
Looked like Infused were trying to cover both the right and the left side, expecting maybe a defensive play to push into the corner either side, but they just never expected the ball played from the attacker to be so loose.
They should be seeing it coming now, though, because that's how they've conceded 3 of the 4 goals that they have, in fact, conceded this series.
Johnny,
they should probably be seeing these long players.
Johnny, I don't like repetition. I don't like repetition. I don't like repetition.
Are you trying to tell me something?
I'm telling them that they need to stop conceding long goals.
Well, if they concede one more, it's an obvious problem. We can already tell it's a problem. But is it going to get any worse? That's a very ambitious play. Double commitment to the back ball by Infused. I don't think there's need to get any need to get that desperate just yet. Plenty of time left to try to bring this game back into their favor. Good pass in field for McLovin. He caught one Endpoint defender off guard. Luckily for Endpoint, there was another ready to back him up. That's better for McLovin there. He's tracking that shot as it was coming in. He was ready to move back when that ball got struck, which is something we've not seen from him or anybody in Infused for large parts of this series. Long may it continue.
Something to say about the timing of coming into defense. That way you can keep your rotation up, you can keep the speed going, and you can power the ball to the other end. 2 players up there for Endpoint. And Infused down to the other end after one player from Endpoint was trying to go for the demo. Didn't quite come in. Dan tries to come in for the shot, though, but is blocked by Tinny. Team Infused need to get themselves a goal, and they need to get it quick. But struggling to find a way through as Endpoint have seemingly put up the wall and refusing to move from it. At this point in time, the only real way you can get past a full-on 3-person defense is basically the passing plays. And right now, I don't see it happening for Team Infused as they get one down, over to 2. Shot does come in, but it was too weak to make it past the defender.
And Endpoint are certainly dominating the demolition and bump plays in Game 2. They came hot out the gates with a couple of demos, and they're following it up with demos all over the field, not just defensively, but also in defense. I think that could be contributing to Infused rotation looking a little bit messy at times. When you throw a demo in there, the opposite team, they don't know where that player is going to respawn. It could be right, could be left, and that can throw off the positioning just for a moment. Of course, we know in Rocket League, a moment is all you need.
When we saw these 2 teams play as well, because they did play off in the semi-finals of our playoffs last season, it was the demos from Endpoint that really were the difference maker, completely threw off Team Infused, who couldn't get any offense going. Obviously, this is a very different looking Team Infused lineup. But still, Endpoint will see the team there and just go, we could possibly do this again. Just throw them off their game a little bit.
And Endpoint are showing us that strategy that they like to employ sometimes. They just get a couple of goals ahead. They like to be up by 2. And then they're just going to park the bus. No overcommitments. A couple of times we have seen 2 people flying for the ball, but immediately after they identify that that is happening, one of them will just back off. We saw Tinny let go a boost when he was double committing with Cheerio. Cheerio going up off the post and also backs out when he sees Chakaron has to clear. It's good to see these guys trusting each other when the call comes through. You can see that moment that the call does occur. This could be a shot, though, and a goal for Dan Shizzle. It's not over yet.
5 seconds remaining, and Endpoint gonna have to start breathing that a little bit heavier right now. Great touch here to pass it straight out to Dantes on McLovin, making his presence felt in this matchup, but it is going to be all off the kickoff.
What are they going to do on this one?
They need to kill it straight away or get it over into the corner.
They're not cheating.
That's not going to be
Oh, they're going for the
them.
side cheat.
And it's going to tap all the way down.
Oh,
One more
no.
opportunity. Tinny will put it straight down, and we are all tied up.
It was 50-50 from 2 members of Infused. It's a bit of confusion after the face-off strategy did not play out the way that they were hoping it would. I'm pretty sure they were trying to do a fast kickoff to the right-hand side of the field and have the back right player cheat up that same wing and then maybe shoot it off the wall, maybe backboard it for the third to come in. So at least they're trying something. I like that. They've identified 5 seconds left. We need to try something special. Let's go for the fast kickoff. Here we do have replays of the game 2, all tied up now at 1 apiece. Courtesy of Cheerios' initial finish, and then another long shot by that same man.
It's just going to be another game where we're really looking at the rotations more than anything else. Seem to be tightened up towards the end of the game. This was a great opportunity. They didn't quite go in. I have to say, even those extra 10 seconds could have made a huge difference because instead Infused had to make everything happen off the kickoff.
Yeah,
which
that's
is so
a good
difficult
point.
to do because the other team knows it.
Yeah, having 10 seconds or 15 seconds to score instead of 5, instead of like 3 or 4, is a really big deal. Gives the team who have the 1-goal lead a different mindset as well, because if you only have to defend a 1-goal lead for 3 seconds, it's a viable strategy to just try to keep the ball on the ground that entire time and never let it go up.
I love the panning shot right there because it came over to us and just went, oh yeah, I'm wearing this.
There goes Shogun. He was trying on all the different costumes and he made them look a lot more fabulous.
Oh yeah, I am a fabulous human being.
Every time we're looking at them on the package, they didn't quite look anywhere near as fabulous as they do when you put them on.
I mean, you guys were very harsh to me in our opening VT. That was uncalled for.
It was. I'm not going to claim any. Oh no, this is hold that thought because I think we might have just seen. Okay, thank you for saving what would have been for the most embarrassing long shot of the day. Good follow-up by McLovin as well to recover and get the clear.
I like the collective holding of breath as soon as we saw the shot.
I just saw a long shot happening, and doesn't matter how slow it is, they've been working. Another shot coming in. Lots of defensive whiffs. Finally, a passing play out of defense. Something that Infused would do well to try to do more of. Just try to find each other with their hits, not just hit the ball aimlessly away from their goal. As Endpoint are starting to read their clears, there's an exact instance of that happening. Cheerio almost on the scoring card yet again.
Infused have got a major problem right now with their offense. They just don't spread out enough. They get so clumped
They're very
together
congested, yeah.
That, yes, it's good to have a player shadowing if you do get challenged, but you don't need every player there shadowing.
Yeah.
And whenever it goes out of their hand, it immediately gives the hand over to Endpoint. Everyone from Infused has to get themselves back, boost back up and get themselves into position. And Endpoint are taking shots possibly from the worse position than they should do, because they're taking them from the halfway line and giving Infused a chance to get back. Here's an opportunity. 2 players committed as well. Doomsy is going to have to try to rotate himself back as quickly as he can, but the offense is going to come to him very slowly. Still a whiff will put his team in a bit of danger, and the follow-up is going to come late. Tinny over into the corner. As McLovin not there in time, and still another whiff. Oh my goodness, it is an infection, a virus going around our field. Everyone missing the ball over and over and over again.
I do think it's all in their minds right now. We're seeing so many misses. It's got to be mental at this point because we know these players, they're absolutely better than this. They know themselves that they're better than this. But can they just break the streak of misses? Can they start to connect with the ball? Not just hit it, but hit it cleanly. Oh, the shot off the post is turning into a pass. Dan Shizzle just there in time. I like how McLovin left that for Doomsy.
It's a problem continuous, though. Every single time the ball is even momentarily played away from the Infused half, they immediately go on to the offense, and they need to try and get a save here. McLovin, lovely save there, and Doomsy with the follow-up will push it into the corner. But back to my point I was trying to make, every time they play the ball out, even to the halfway line, the defender comes all the way out to the midfield, and it just shouldn't be happening. They need to hold them back until they know 100% that they are safe.
Absolutely. But right now we see that, you know, grouped up offense that we've been seeing for Infused. It was about to happen again there. If the 50-50 didn't go across the field, they do just need to spread out a bit more. Maybe use a V formation in attack with the point of the V leading that attack, as it were. So right now they're looking a bit more like a full stop. Just just a big fat full stop, permanent marker style. Everybody in one place. It's leading to all these double commits, because when you're all that close together, it's harder to know in the moment whose ball it is to go for. You just think, this is pretty close to me, I'm going to go for it. Oh, wait a minute. It was also pretty close to my teammate, because we're pretty close together.
Johnny, did you invent a new game mode? Because this entirely seems like Endpoint is having all the offense, although finally Infused going to get it down to the other end of the field.
Oh, well played by Cheerio.
That was absolutely sublime. 2 touches, going to flick it over the top. Cheerio going to go for the follow-up, look for the dunk. Here comes Spooky Ron. Just passing it straight into the corner, looking to try and give his team time to reset their rotation. Tinny did have his back turned, though, making it hard for himself, but he's still got plenty. Goal was only an inch, a whisker. Think of something smaller, maybe even an atom away from being a goal.
If an inch had a whisker, that's how close that was to being a goal. A double touch comes in from McLovin at the other end, though. Where has this been all game long?
Where has this been all season
long?
That
is beautiful from McLovin. Great first touch, set himself up for a great read. He's so happy with himself. It's been a messy, messy game, a messy series, but that goal was worthy of Messi himself.
McLovin with 2 absolutely gorgeous shots so far. And he is currently the difference maker between these 2 teams. It's going to be a pass straight out to McLovin, and why not make him your target man right now? He is hitting every single time in the offense. Defense still shaky, but that is the story for the entirety of Team Infused. Dan Tizzle gets it over the side. Attempt to follow up from Doomsy. I mean, McLovin by himself. He's got passing plays going around him, but the pass from Spookeron just into the middle of the 2 players that he was aiming for. Backwards.
It just looked like nobody on either of these 2 teams, sorry, is willing to go far side. As the ball goes under Dan, another bad clear from the young man. The fake coming in did just cause Dan to panic, and he popped it, tried to get up and get a block, but he was just a little bit too fast. He anticipated Cheerio getting to the ball faster than he in fact did. That's what led to him jumping too high. But the panics, they're coming in, and they're coming in aplenty still as we pass over halftime in the series. 1-1. 1 goal likely to separate these 2 teams at the end of game 3. Final 10 seconds. That's a good pass. McLovin can't reach it. Did not pre-jump, where perhaps it might have been necessary. Will Infused have the last laugh as we see Doomsy charging up the power clear. Or is Doomsy getting a follow-up as well? It's going to ground, though, for overtime.
This is going to be huge for one of these teams. The winner of this will put themselves on match point, and an absolutely crucial one for both these 2 seasons. A match that they both pretty much must win, especially for Team Infused. Maybe a long clear. 2 players taken out as well. McLovin does end up missing. Doomsy just wants to play Annoyance. Well, speaking of Annoyance, Dan has always been taken out, and that leaves the goal completely open. Endpoint, smash, and Cheerio going to get himself the goal that will take the win.
And it was another demo. This time, it looks like the defense has just been wide open, neglecting their own goal. But that was a demo from behind. A little bit careless from Infused not to identify that someone from Endpoint has snuck into the back line. Maybe keep an eye on where he is, because he's probably gunning for you. I didn't see who it was who got the demo there, because I've got an eye patch today, and it's really difficult to see anything at all. But it was well done. Endpoint do just take the lead. It looked for a moment there.
They're loving that one.
Yeah, they looked for a moment that Infused might sneak another game, and that would have been very interesting, as in, if Infused had got another game. They would probably be the favorites. It's hard to call them favorites, though, with them being so inconsistent this season.
Well, we are going to take ourselves a quick little look, I believe.
Well, we're either going to have replays or we're just going to keep looking at Tenny.
We're just going to keep looking at Tenny.
I mean, I'm happy with either one. This is totally fine.
And actually, I want to bring a point to this, though, because we saw both these teams, when they stepped down earlier on, both looking very mellow. Like, they had their heads in the game more than anything else. You look like the eye patch is it's doing your head in a little bit, literally. But they were both very mellow when they came down here. And suddenly you see Endpoint, they're looking happier. Tinny with a smile on his face, that cheeky grin. They're both very emotional teams, so it's very easy to tell who the momentum is on by just looking at their faces and seeing who is happier.
I'm very worried for Infused right now, not just because they have dropped another game, but the fact that they've lost another game from an undefended shot. It was a ball just rolling into their net. Nobody at home to save it because he got demoed in the midfield. It's not the way that you want to be conceding if you are Infused, because that's the kind of goal that's going to make people play more passive, more slow, kind of sit back even further, give Endpoint more space, more time to pressure, collect boost, start to attack and you know, intercept, do all the things that they love to do. So our Infused is going to come out all guns blazing here. That's what they need to do if they want to come back here, finish off the way that they started.
The opportunity for their passing play, going to go straight to the middle, and there will be the follow-up from Cheerio. Everyone from Team Infused trying to rotate themselves back. They're just not able to get there in time. Once again, too many players.
They're all on the same side.
Forward.
And every single player there from Infused following or tracking back on the same side as the ball, which is fundamentally wrong in Rocket League. If you want to be arriving in a proactive position in defense, you've got to track back into that back post position. So then you could drive forward at the ball. And everybody there for Infused just caught completely off guard, following the ball almost as it just made its way into their net, which is not ideal. Their defense certainly not as we expected it would be. I mean, we all said Endpoint were the favorites here, but we thought there would be a little bit more of a fight from Infused. At least, you know, a couple of saves maybe, which has not really been happening.
Here comes Cheerio with a shot of his own. That is a bouncer, very difficult to save. And they have managed to do so. Endpoint, they do take the win here, then Infused will... Last season, they went on a 6-game win streak. They lost one, and then following that, if they lose this, they could go on a 6-game losing streak immediately following that, which is just absolutely ludicrous. As Dan's going to come in, what an absolute great shot from him, but unfortunately does not quite find the way in.
Tackled McLovin. Dan.
Oh, it's the cool Cole touch.
Oh, no.
Take it away from the oncoming, rotating in third.
He's just trying to do too much there. He almost scored and he thinks, I was so close, I'll try again. But all he ended up doing was taking it away from his teammate as Tinny doubles the lead at the other end. Cheerio with a cheeky little outplay, flicks it over one defender, second defender. I think it's Doomsy there. Maybe you can confirm. OU of 2 eyes.
Me of 2
My
eyes.
co-caster who has 2 functional eyes. Was it? I think it was Doomsy who just had massive hesitation from Doomsy. That is what I was worried about at the start of this game, that they're just going to sit so far back to try to compensate for what has been their biggest problem this series. But they don't want to overcompensate, and that's what's happening right now. Just challenges are not coming in. Decent double touch by Doomsy, at least forcing the save. But it does not look too promising right now for Infused.
That's going to be Endpoint needing to try and find maybe that third goal just to finish off this series altogether. There is absolutely nobody back right now, so Cheerio couldn't get there in time. Here comes Spookeron, looking for the passing play straight over to Tinny. They need to keep it away from Team Infused, who seem to know exactly the situation they're in. They are refusing to give up any pressure, but it does leave them open for their arch nemesis throughout this entire series. If they pressure too much, then they will get hit by yet another long clear, which will eventually turn into a goal.
I like this from the Infused. Look at them spread out now. They're indeed using much more space in offense, and it's caused an free shot. It did get missed.
McLovin has
did it all right.
The best goal, the second best goal of the series as well, and he doesn't hit that one. A clear showing that the open goal is always the toughest.
Open goals, man. They're just something else. It's that mental block. As soon as you see the open net, you start to think, oh no, what have I missed?
Oh, absolutely.
This will be really embarrassing.
You go into Rocket League, you pick up the cherry picker, the hardest thing you can possibly do, you'll 100% it. Basic shooting, not a chance.
Oh, when the ball's not even moving. It's that rookie aerial training. Probably the hardest aerial training in the game, because the ball is in fact not even moving when you're trying to fly to it. It's just not something you're used to doing at the highest level.
Well, Team Infused have got themselves a challenge just as difficult, if not more difficult, if I can even say so, than rookie aerial training.
It can be more difficult than rookie aerial training.
They've got to get themselves back by 2 goals in the next minute and 15 seconds. Opportunity for them to set up the first. Cheerio, though, lovely half volley coming off the wall. And that is going to mean that Infused have just got to set themselves up yet again. Doomsy, lovely shot from him, and what a great save from Spookeron. He has been a defensive maestro throughout this entire series. Everywhere he needs to be, refusing to give up any space.
Are Infused currently using that right side of the field? Of course, the ball's on the left. No, they're all on the same side. I was really hoping that when the camera panned around there, that we would indeed see the last man back sneaking into that far post. But another save by Spookeron. Does that Ghost Topper have a hitbox or something? How is he saving all these shots?
That could do it. Oh!
As he saved another one.
Unintentional save on his own teammate.
Yeah, he's just making the saves for everybody.
I was going to say that could be the end of it, but if Endpoint's defense continues to hold up, as it looks like it will, then they will take this series. Another long ball means, unfortunately, Infused have got to start all over again. And with 12 seconds, Johnny, it is looking like it's an impossible task.
That's going to be game. And the defense was just not there at the start of the series. I do like that they're trying to spread out a little bit more. It's an attempted own goal coming in. They're not even going to be able to hit that as Infused drop 3-1. They missed their chance in game 3 when they had the lead inside the final minute. Endpoint snuck back in and they hold on to take the series. Comfortable fashion in game 4.
So, Endpoint, their season is turning around.
That's 2 wins now in a row.
In a row, and 2 convincing wins in a row. They lost the very first game, but ever since then, it just seemed like it was almost handed over to their opponents. Now, we could talk about Team Infused, but really, it just went wrong immediately. The entire rotation never looked like it's set up. As you said, they weren't spreading out correctly, offering huge gaps, not only for Endpoint to get clears in, but they were also leaving huge gaps to get goals from.
Yeah. It was a bit of an overcompensation. Infused, they identified their problems, I think. Or at least I want to believe that they identified their problems. They realized that their defense was not being careful enough, and they realized their attack was a little bit too congested. But it was a little bit too late, I think. They just didn't... Well, they knew what they were doing wrong, but they just couldn't quite fix it in time. That does sometimes happen with these new teams. Good bread and butter goal there. Good speed from Tinny. And then it was really the spooky run show in defense as he somehow saves everything with some nice dodging. Another great save off his own crossbar.
I know for Team Envy, yeah, last season we had the Wall of Waffle. Good luck getting something for the regularly called Chacaron.
Yeah.
That is absolutely ludicrous. You're not going to get anything for that.
Yeah, what can we, because if we had the Wall of Waffle, what are we going to come up with for spooky run? I don't know.
No idea.
I don't know what we could do. But Infused, this is now not within their own control. I'm pretty sure that it's mathematically impossible for them to control their own destiny, I think. Maybe. I'm going to go with it.
You sure?
No. Well,
you're 100% certain. You can back out right now if you want to.
Where? Where can I go? You're going to have to direct me. I don't want to move in case I walk into something. I'm going to trip on a wire or walk into something.
You're a terrible player. You've got to take risks.
This is true. This is true. Well, what risk should I be taking, Shogun? Where should I go from here? My piracy career.
I have absolutely no idea. Where could you possibly go?
See, I'm a rookie pirate. I came into the studio today. They said you're a pirate today. And,
I'm expecting you to just walk up and down our crowd, just go, "Arr!" and just go, "Yay, we're sorted it."
Well, I could still do that.
You could still do that. Sure. I expect you to do that.
The crowd is looking quite worried about that prospect. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
I mean, what would they rather see? Would they rather see... I'm going to give them 3 options here. Would they rather see you running up down stage, you calling for them to cheer again, or would they rather see Ariel, who is backstage?
I think they would rather see Ariel.
You want to see that one?
Oh, winning team that is Endpoint. I keep forgetting we've got that Halloween music. You were just saying that was the most stressful game ever. Why?
By far. Like, it's just their play style and like all the games we played before this one. None of them come close to how physical they were and how much they were bumping us off the ball. It was really stressful.
Is it just that you couldn't read them? You've not seen them play like that before?
Well, I think that's partly to do with it. We haven't really seen much of them. We haven't played against them that much, so that's probably what contributed to it.
How are you feeling, Cheerio? Victorious for the second week, and you guys needed the win last week. You must feel a bit more at ease now you've had a second win in the series.
Yeah, it feels a lot easier now. I hope we can just loosen up for the next few weeks as well.
Well, I mentioned to you last week, are you going to be like top goal scorer of the season? You scored some goals today.
Yeah, Tinny saved 2 of my shots though, so I could have had more.
Oh, speak to me then. He's still one of your goals.
Yeah, there was that game 3 where we had an overtime goal. And I was driving it into the goal, and then out of nowhere, Chiro just decided, I want to get top goal scorer again, so he just stole my goal. So I got him back, though. I saved a couple of his shots in that last game. So.
Oh, I don't like this. Come on, it's all about the group, like the group support network. Nah, I want to be top goal scorer. So, obviously you guys are our champions last series. Does this feel like you're back onto the winning streak now as a team?
It's still going to be tough to get those top 4 spots because there's a lot of good teams now, but if we keep playing like this, I think we have a shot.
Oh, you're just so calm. Look, he's even like lounging on the side. I like this. This is like, just won it, no big deal. Excellent start, guys. Well done. And I'm really proud of you. And let's hope that this is the beginning of the reigning supreme champions of Endpoint.
Thank you very much, Ariel. I tell you what, Good dab. Strong work from Ariel. It is Saturday, though, if you're looking at her outfit thinking, hang on, is it Wednesday? It is definitely Saturday. Terrible joke. But listen, let's talk about the performance from Infused and Endpoint. Identifying Infused struggles, or should we focus first on Endpoint's manage the fact that they managed to battle through that and get that win?
We'll start with the former question. So Infused, as individuals, every one of those players likes to be aggressive. And we noticed at times they're often double committing, playing very congested. And that's because all those players like to go after the ball. I wouldn't say they're ball chasers because they're not quite as bad as someone like Cheerio, where his team have accepted that he chases the ball. They're all just competing for the same role. And it worked at times. It meant they were quite aggressive. And as Shakeron said, at times it was really tough to defend because they were constantly going after the ball. But then it does mean that they let so many free goals go through, which is the scary part of their gameplay.
What did you find about that?
Very similar. You saw the Infused. They were getting confused up the pitch. As you say, there was a lot of double commits, and a lot of Endpoint's goals in the early games were coming from essentially just long clears or long shots upfield, where there was no one back on rotation. Everyone was committing upfield, trying to get themselves on the score sheet, and it showed. And I feel for Infused a little bit because they kind of threw those first couple of games just with the way that they just weren't defending. And I think the first game, it was making me giggle because Shogun just said, can someone please hit the ball?
Like, it get very bad
It was like the first 30 seconds was like everyone was still half asleep in bed because everyone was just missing the ball. Everyone was a little bit jittery, and then it did settle down a little bit, but Infused just made it difficult for themselves. Yes, they won a game, but the goals they were conceding just made their job so much harder.
I don't want to say it is down to their play style, but the way Infused play does encourage a lot of missing balls because everything's so fast that you have to react instantly, which means you're not quite in control of the touch you're trying to make. And so you do sometimes rush a touch, miss the ball, and it just causes the game to be a bit more scrappy.
This is game 2.
Yeah.
Team Infused, 2-0 down, Endpoint beginning to find their rhythm. But as Shakeron said, they found it stressful because they had to work out a way to counteract Infused doing exactly what you've just said, Gregan.
Yeah, how do you defend when two people are flying at the ball? You don't know which one of them's going to hit it. And a lot of the time, neither of them hit it.
Yeah.
And then what do? You fly at the ball thinking, I've got to block this. But actually, the effect you give there is your teammates then have to scramble to try and defend the miss. And it just gets very chaotic. And when it's chaotic, players don't know what to do because they're used to that reading play. Because at the top level, you read every touch and you try and react to every touch.
And I want to give a shout out to Shakeron as well, Spooky Ron, as he's known now, getting into the spirit of things. Like some of the saves he was making towards the end of that series were huge for Endpoint, and it was the difference we saw Infused when some of the shots were coming towards their goal. Some valiant efforts, but not quite managing to make those saves. But I mean, Shakeron at the end there, he was the star for me in that series. We always talk about offensive players and how they're winning games, and it's all glamorous and exciting, but the work that he was doing and the saves he was pulling off, that was what won them those games.
Shot stopper Shakeron.
Shot, I can't even say it. The point is, game 3, very careful. This was a very, very important game for them. I mean, Johnny Boy indicated when he said, they knew the faults, they knew what they were doing wrong in Fuse, but they just couldn't find out a way to correct them mid-game.
Yeah, I mean, it's always difficult to correct things halfway through a series mid-game because you're so stuck in your ways as a player and the way you want to play the game that when you do recognise something, you almost need a leader on your team to take control of it and just say, look, let's do this, you do this, you do this. And I don't know if Infused have that, to be honest with you. You look at Endpoint, they're very together, and I think that, Shakeron's probably that guy on that team that kind of, he's willing to say, cheerio, calm down a little bit, and
it's funny,
they all calming influence on it a little bit.
Shakeron likes to tell the team how to play, but he doesn't know how to say it. So the team then has this miscommunication, and then in the end, Tinny just kind of laughs it off, and then they get on with it. Yeah. And Cheerio sits there quietly and goes, "Let's just win."
Yeah, I love the bit of banter between Cheerio and Tinny, who's stealing whose goal.
Oh, that was great.
But this was the deciding match for Endpoint to get the final win, and I suppose after all that stress that Endpoint had, they began to loosen up a little bit, and as you heard from Tinny, they all began to just gel a bit more.
Yeah, and it makes such a difference when you start getting ahead. For them, this was a big week for them because they lost to Reason, who were the beatable team last season. They came into this and saw parallels there, and they were worried the same thing was going to happen. Were they going to be the only team to lose to bottom of the table? Thankfully, they got over that hump after they started coming back, but it was a worrying concept coming in as the favourites.
Yeah, before the match started, I did point out there was a hat for both teams. One was being worn by Cheerio, who's got a lot of goals, and then there was also Doomsy, who's currently backstage with Ariel. How's he feeling?
He is backstage with me here. Doomsday, is it all doom and gloom for you?
It doesn't look good, does it?
It's not the best. But do you know what? We just spoke to Endpoint there, and they said they actually found that game really stressful. They found it really hard. They couldn't really read how you guys are playing, and they're really stressing out. And they really, and then obviously they turned it around in the game. Were you as a team as Infused? Did you just lose your cool, or did you lose your nerve a bit, or was it just they were too strong?
It's a combination of everything, I think. I mean, they're a good team, and their demos we always forget, but when they start doing the demos, we're like, okay, we've got to remember this because they scored like 3 goals because of some demos, and that like played a part. But then we started getting the hang of that, and then it was like a matter of getting our defense in order and getting some attacking in order. So it's literally a combination of everything.
You said that you could hear them celebrating when they started scoring their goals. Was that quite off-putting as a team?
Yeah, but it was just like because when I heard them, I thought it was the crowd. Because you can hear
right. Is that not a hindrance?
It's coming
though?
from the left. No, it's fine. It's like, obviously, they're going to be happy, so.
Okay, so what does this spell now for Infused and Doomsday?
I should say I'm not playing next week or the week after or the week after that. So basically, this is my last week at the Elite Series.
Why?
I'm taking a step back for a bit to sort out some personal issues. But Al Dente is going to be coming in.
Okay. Well, will we see you again maybe in another form? Recasting, analysing?
If you want me, yeah.
Yes, we do, always. Also, what happened to Harry the Hedgehog?
Well, I can't...
Was he delicious?
I can't eat wheat.
Oh, excellent. Didn't know that, did I?
I can't eat dairy.
Oh, well, that ruined that. Sorry about that.
That's
I mean, I'm glad. Brilliant. Well, you have been the star of our Elite Series. Thank you very much, Doomsday.
Thank you very much, Harry. Just to explain that about the hedgehog, obviously it was Doomsday's birthday last week, and a cake was given to him. There you go. That's what you're going to get.
Can't eat wheat.
We try and poison Doomsday.
Yeah, I believe that's what
no dairy, no wheat, chocolate cake. Great idea.
And I believe that is the issue, so that's why he's not coming back for a little while. No, I don't think it is. But I tell you what, it's going to be a sad loss for them. But hey, it's all about getting that team bonding and to gel. So that will be interesting to see whether that happens. But based on that result, let's have a quick look at the table and see where it puts Endpoint before we discuss the wheat intolerance of Doomsday more. As you can see, Endpoint squeezing in to the top 4 with that win today, so they are back on track. But, you know, that looks good for them. You know, in 3rd place right there, you know, Excel still to play in the other matches. But Infused, with a situation now without Doomsday, will that strengthen them? Can they gel a bit more? What happens?
I think it's just a playstyle clash, so we'll only know when they bring in a new player. I know some of the players they've got on that roster, they've been playing together a bit, seeing whether it works. And I think there was a clash between the fact Doomsday is quite... Free-spirited, likes to go for the ball a lot, but so do a lot of the other people in that roster. So Dan Shizzle and McLovin both like to be very aggressive. So perhaps bringing in Radio with those two might work quite nicely because he prefers to sit back. We'll only see in the future weeks. We can't say right now. It depends on the players on the day.
OK, but what you might not be able to see is I can see his eyes right now. Listen, gentlemen, great way to start this. There is still a long way to go in the battle for Rocket League playoff places. And if those battles can match what we've just seen from Infused and Endpoint, we are in for a trick or treat. Just a treat.